And we're live. Hi, everybody. We'll let some people join in here. For those of you who are going to be listening later on, hello and welcome to Codex Added. Today we're going to be playing Mass Effect Andromeda. So we'll give it a couple minutes here and let some people join in. I see Readable is Readable is on it again. First in. What's going on, man? I'm just going to get the link tweeted out. That always helps. I see Mo. Mo, how's it going? Glad you could make it. Man, what a few days difference makes. I think I actually got everything done correctly this time. I got the name of the stream right. I got the I'm pretty sure all my bugs are worked out. Actually, you know what? On that note, let me actually make sure that I have Frosty ready so I can actually open this up correctly. Hope everybody's having a good evening. John, see John has joined. Abaddon, see you're in there as well. Nice to see you. Okay, so we've got Frosty open now, as soon as it cooperates. All right, so Frosty's open. Maybe I'll give it a couple more minutes here. Are we just shy of... Yeah, we're about 3 minutes shy of 6 o'clock. So I'm going to let it hit 6 o'clock on the dot just to make sure. And then we'll go ahead and get started. Mo, yeah, you know what? My Sunday has been great. Actually, it's been nice and lazy for the most part. I was doing some editing on some other videos that'll be coming out here in a couple of days. But other than that, pretty damn relaxing. Got to just kind of chill out, be a little lazy, watching Parks and Rec. I don't know if anybody else is a Parks and Rec fan, but yeah, I marathoned several episodes today. Ron Swanson is my hero. Jamie K, hi, how's it going? Glad you could be here. John, yeah, you know what, man? So sometimes it's actually, I don't know what part of the country, what part of the world you're in. There was actually some pretty heavy rain earlier today where I'm at, and it let up. But one of the things about that is a good time to play some games, good time to do some streaming. So not a bad move to do a stream when it's kind of poor weather outside. Dylan, I'm glad you could make this one too. Yeah, you know, sometimes I mean, we're going to try and do these as frequently as we can, so be pretty hard to make all of them. They're always archived if you do want to watch them later on, but yeah, glad you could make this one as well. The one yesterday was a blast, man. I had so much fun doing doing the dual stream with everybody, with you guys there and with Katie. That was for anyone that was there yesterday, that one was pretty hilarious. All right, well, we got a good stream health. I think we're just about at 6 o'clock. By the time Frosty manages to load Andromeda, it'll be 6. So let's go ahead and see if we can get this loaded up. Sten V, hola, good to see you. Jamie, yeah, no, it's been crazy. I live in South Texas, and so it's crazy hot here. But so the rain was actually a little bit surprising. But yeah, just out of nowhere, it was coming down pretty hard. Didn't last very long. Like, it stopped now, but for a little bit, it was just like some heavy storms. So if I recall, last time we left off, Alicia Ryder was taking care of some cat, taking care of some of the monoliths on Eos, and we had just met PB and we're basically, I think basically what we will be doing today is going into the actual vault on EOS, which I mean, it's the first one. I always like the way the vaults were handled, but in particular the first one. And yeah, see if we can get EOS looking a little bit better. Huh. I've never seen this before. Frosty decided that it couldn't go. I've literally never seen that before. It flashed an error message on my other monitor for some reason, and then it decided it could not do it. All right, let's try this again. Yeah, on that, Stan, that really would have been great if we could have seen a fully restored EOS. If we could have seen like more fully restored planets in general. I in particular was really disappointed that Havarl doesn't really change all that much to me. I would have liked to have seen Havarl been a little, because it felt like it could have been like that lush, almost like Paradise Planet if it could have just like been a little more subdued. And I thought we would have gotten to see that, but we didn't. So I was disappointed with that as well. Kadara, same thing. I would have liked to see Kadara gotten a little bit greener. And yeah, and Vold to me was like, I don't know if the whole planet is supposed to be frozen. I think it's just a matter of that was the region that you play in. And I would have liked to have seen the actual capital city, which they make reference to a couple of times. Oh, you know what? Hang on a second. I'm trying to figure out what on earth did I change, because Frosty just failed again. The only thing I can think of... Man, I tell you, right, I spoke too soon. I said earlier I got everything ready as far as technical stuff. Everything was tested. I started making sure everything was ready ahead of time. I forgot about Frosty, man. Here's what I think it was. I think I got it fixed. I was playing around with Mass Effect cinematic tools for a video that I can't tell you about yet. Secret video. And I was trying to get some shots with MEA cinematic tools. And in order to do that, I had to have that run as administrator and have the actual Game EXE run as administrator. And so I'm thinking I have to have Frosty run as administrator also in order to work with that. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, Havarl just got less wildlife, which to me was almost like not cheap is too strong a word, but I felt like it was basically like trash mobs essentially before you clear stuff out on Havarl, where you're just constantly getting jumped by critters. And then once you activate the vault, then there's less critters, which to me is like, well, there shouldn't have been trash mobs to begin with. I liked Kadara. Honestly, you do go back to Kadara a lot, but I wish that Kadara was just, they have a good storyline, right? Like the Sloane Reyes storyline is a good storyline, 100%, but I just wish there was even more, because I really liked Kadara also. I think if Kadara could have been a little bit greener, and if the port was just bigger, I think it could have been the perfect planet. Because it had a little bit of like city, but it wasn't a super pristine city. It was kind of like pirate. It had some landscape that was quite beautiful, but yeah. And Seon, oh man, I'm glad you could stop by. Sorry about the phone. I feel your pain. My phone has been, battery life has just been ridiculous recently, and I have an iPhone. I have an older iPhone, and so I feel you on that one with the phone, man. But I hope you can stop by next time. Yeah, I hope Reyes comes back also, Nicole. Good to see you. Glad you could join us. Yeah, let's go ahead and get started here. Oh, I do have to switch back over to Alicia, because again, I was needing to get some footage for another video. Austin, good evening. Good to see you. I have never done a Reyes romance, Dylan, but definitely something to, definitely maybe something for a future playthrough. Here we go. Alright, so once again, technical stuff. And I gotta remember to set up Windows so that it recognizes the Andromeda EXE and always sets the CPU priority higher. That is super important. Yeah, I was looking at, you know, potentially maybe upgrading my CPU, but in order to do that, I'm going to have to get a motherboard. Gonna have to get a motherboard upgrade. Okay, so the next one should be... yeah, should be pretty much straight ahead down this road. Fuzzy Fur, good to see you. Glad you could make it. Honestly, just good to be playing Mass Effect again. I know that sounds cliche. I just goddamn love Mass Effect. I don't know what it is. And the Nomad is, I shouldn't even say that the Nomad is surprisingly fun, honestly. It really shouldn't be a surprise. I mean, I think I mentioned this and several people know this already, but the Need for Speed team joined up with BioWare to kind of, you know, give some inputs on driving games in general, but also, you know, getting the feel of vehicles right in a Frostbite game. So it should come as no surprise that the Nomad is just freaking fun to drive, to be quite honest.
Activating automated forward station deployment. Mining zones in this region are available, Pathfinder. I've added them to your nav system.
There's a lot of little details.
That spot has shelter, water, stable ground.
It was initially overlooked due to heavy Kett presence at the nearby remnant structure, but it would be an excellent outpost site.
Kett and Remnant. Seems you can't find one without the other. So, if we clear the skies, this might be our new home.
What a great view. No, I mean, I am guilty of having an overly positive view of Andromeda, which might be why I like the damn Nomad so much. And by the way, John, I am a fan of the Mako, 100%. That OG Mako is dope. But no, I have an overly positive view of Andromeda, and I don't make any apologies for that. It's a subjective view. I don't claim that it's an objective view. It's totally subjective, and number one, I enjoy the game more because of it. I think maybe I might even help other people enjoy the game more than they would have because my view of Andromeda is so positive, and I don't think that's a bad thing. But all the little details, man, like it's so small, but these damn forward operating base pods, things that drop out of the sky, every time it happens, I go, oh, that's cool, man, that thing drops out of the sky. It's not novel or unique anymore at all. I just think it's cool every time I see it. Also the little, I don't know if you want to call it ambient storytelling, etc. Just little stuff like this.
Data key. Specialist Engineer Aman Kathari.
Chased down by what he was studying.
Personnel deaths were not recorded. The Chief Engineer halted reports to the Nexus.
That sounds bad, but nothing on EO sounds good.
Yeah, Jamie, well, that's good to hear. I mean, in a lot of ways, that's kind of why I like talking about Andromeda. And of course, also, I mean, anybody who listens to the podcast and my videos on the Exalted March, I mean, obviously, I'm critical of certain aspects of the game, of certain characters. You know, we just had the most recent episode of STV come out, and I go to town on Liam in the most recent episode, and yeah, so I definitely have criticisms of it also, but I hope my positivity makes people give it a second look because, especially with the updates and with mods, it can be a really super enjoyable experience. And yeah, no, I think it's a balance, right? Like the game did need to be polished 100%. So it's a balance between, as consumers, we want to make sure that we're telling developers and publishers, hey, we want you to be better, but as gamers, if you will, although I'm not a huge fan of that label, you know, as people who enjoy video games, you know, try and give it as much benefit of the doubt as you can. Try and enjoy it as much as you can.
The monoliths too.
Did they learn anything?
Mostly what you learn the hard way. But hey, now you're here.
All right, let's do this.
Remnant incoming.
More Remnant bots. These ones don't seem hostile.
Yeah, they don't seem hostile yet.
I detect a high level of remnant encryption here, Pathfinder. To continue, you will need to decrypt it.
All Remnant down.
God, I kept trying to do a hover and then throw the container, but it just wasn't happening. There's a little too much writer to process. Yeah, Stan, I don't disagree about the potential. That's the part that makes it kind of bittersweet, kind of melancholy when I think about it. You know, I enjoy it as much as I do, and yet I know it could have been more. You know, it just could have been more. There could have been so much more there. So it is bittersweet.
The interface that controls this.
But I'm also super hyped to hear Casey Hudson say that they've got a small team already working on what the next Mass Effect could be, because I think there's a lot to build on for Andromeda.
Interface successful, Pathfinder.
Sakun, yeah, man, those Liam push-ups were not good, and I don't know, I'm definitely not an expert, right? But I've probably had bad push-up form, like most people have throughout their life. But that's why I mentioned, like, you can look up what a push-up looks like, and just because someone's not good at doing them personally doesn't mean there's not a reference point. Oh, that's right. Okay, so I think I have a mod for this also, which I mean, this is kind of the only sort of a gamey slash somewhat. Some people might think it's like a cheat mod. I have one where I think I can buy a stack of 1,000 decryption keys, just because. Look, for a stream as well, this is not fun to watch someone do this, and also it's a pain in the ass. So. So yeah, it says use one decryption key. Wait, really? Do I not have?
Glad you're the one tapping these.
It says use one. Alright, I guess I don't have any. This is not my favorite thing to do.
Interface failed.
Oh, and that's right,
Pathfinder.
and it's gonna bug
Defense
the crap out of me with
systems
these things. How great. Not in the mood for these, and this is literally why I do that thing with the stack. I was just rushing through this and not paying attention, which I really shouldn't do for the sake of time. I should probably actually pay attention to this. You don't like Sudoku? Yeah. Yeah, the whole Sudoku thing. I mean, you know what the interesting thing is? I enjoyed these the first couple of playthroughs. Just the same way I enjoyed the Astrariums in Inquisition. So I actually enjoy stuff like this as a matter of course, like just in general. But once you're doing multiple playthroughs in a relatively close amount of time, you know, you're just like, I don't want to do these anymore. Okay, this is not correct. So we got to change these to that. Okay, I think this is correct so far. And that one's got to be that one. And now this should be correct. Unless this is exactly what I did last time, but this should be correct, right? Hey Flucus, how's it going? Glad you could make it. So far we're just we're watching. Everyone's watching me suck at Sudoku. But no, I think this actually should looks right. Jamie says it looks right. I'm trusting you, Jamie. This looks good to me too. So that's why I have the one mod where I'm just gonna get the 1,000 stack of decryption keys, pay 0 credits for it, and then not worry about it from there.
The monoliths are online and connected to...
Again, I liked them, and I felt that I was actually decent at the harder ones later on, but on replays, it's just not fun to do them anymore.
I'll meet you there. Don't do anything without me.
Crap, here I am taking a drink of water, and we got more of these guys coming out. Are there more of these? Oh, come on. I'm in the mood for you guys. Here, take your guy back. Ah, crap. Woo, okay, not good. Damn it. Not a good move. Oh, man. So please tell me it saved after I got done with the Sudoku. Yeah, I threw that one cat.
Cat dropship.
Yeah, I did. Okay,
Seriously?
I threw that
Can't catch a
one
break.
cat, the other cat, and then I got overconfident. I tried to rush him. Wasn't a good move. Come on, Liam. If ever I've needed you to throw a grenade, buddy, come on.
Is it just me, or do cats seem to appear everywhere we find remnant tech?
I was just thinking the same thing.
Yeah, no, Zoe, I liked them, as I mentioned before, but yeah, at some point I'm just like, yeah, it's way easier to get the decryption keys. Mike says Liam is too busy doing push-ups, and badly, as we've already established. Okay, let's get down there and meet PB. And we'll see if we can't save Eos from himself.
Remember the early data on Eos back home? When everywhere was labeled H with a bunch of numbers? Your dad put those readings up in his office. Knew them all by heart. Wonder what those worlds really looked like then. And now. There. Coming out of the lake.
The tank's underground too.
Yeah, this was another one where
It's opening up.
freaking awesome, man.
Come on!
Like, you gotta be able to appreciate these moments for what they are, just kind of separate from, I don't know, from the hate that kind of started
It's
right after launch.
forming a bridge.
Let's find out how
These
slow
moments
it
were
is.
freaking cool, man. And they felt like Mass Effect, but they also felt like something else. Like there were moments when they got that alien presence correct, and these were it. I still can't get over the fact that Peevy's got an assault rifle, and I'm like, how come she can't have an assault rifle all the time? Yeah, we're still gonna go with the Phalanx. We don't have a lot of mods, so... And yeah, basically everything the same.
No. No, this can't be right. All that fanfare for an empty room? There's some secret here. There must be. Do your Pathfinder thing. Oh, you're good.
And I make it look so easy.
How far down do you think it goes?
Only one way to find out.
That can't be air pressure. Electrostatic? Ah, gravitation. Oh, you idiot, PB. That wasn't the front door. This is.
I'll let you know.
Hey!
You know, that jumping in first moment doesn't always feel correct. With a lot of writers, this is the first. Alicia Ryder is the first writer where I feel like that moment makes sense for her to be the first one jumping in. She's got an adventurous spirit, you know. She's kind of in some sense, I see it as her being similar to her dad, but she's not as professional,
Acting like a gravity well.
serious as Dad
But
Ryder.
where's it taking us?
But she's got a real sense of adventure.
Embrace
she's
the
the jump
unknown,
in
Ryder.
first kind of gal.
Now this is more like it.
Looks like a bunker. Or a vault?
Whatever you call it. The controls for that atmosphere processor might be down here somewhere.
Let's find out.
Anything could be important. Let's be thorough.
Look there. Do you see that?
Looks like a broken information display.
Not what we're looking for, but worth getting a record. You go ahead. I've got your back.
I think that gravity well works in reverse, too.
Then we have a way out.
You're not leaving already, are you?
Not until we find those processor controls. Only minimal power. I don't think it triggered the atmosphere processor, but
Pathfinder, a conduit beneath the floor just activated. Fluid is running through it. It could be generating emergency power. Your scanner will have more details.
I see the conduit, Sam. Whatever it is, it leads out of the room. I'm getting something from that data pattern, but the glyphs make no sense.
Damn it.
Data corruption detected. What survives is highly technical. From the context, this could be instructions or a warning.
Yeah, so far in the future, we throw rocks at it. I mean, you know, it's a little unscientific, but as Dylan says, you know, at least you didn't lick any rocks.
No signs of any cat. Maybe they can't get into the vault?
But you can. That'll get their attention.
Lucky me.
Phrase recovered. Must read to access. This console links to surface facilities.
Then it must control the atmosphere processor.
No glyphs.
I really like this
It looks dead,
as
or
well, like
locked
the
down, like most of
broken
this place.
displays that they
Fluid
have here in the
conduit
vaults.
leads to this console and further into the vault.
And how, you know, it kind of plays
So
into
if we follow
Sam
that
learning how to
conduit,
decipher
it might lead to the system
the
lockdown.
language.
These data pattern things are incredible. If I'm right, each one can hold hundreds of zettabytes. There are whole species who get by with less.
Minor corruption detected. The pattern suggests significant data present.
I also have always thought that this view is really good for screenshots. Let's just take a quick one here.
But it cannot be accessed.
Another gravity well, and that's new.
What is it?
A symbol of authority? A key? It's easy to speculate with Remnant, but we need more facts. I'll see what I can find on this beauty. Maybe over this way.
Whatever has this place on lockdown is that way.
I do my best work solo. You fix up the vault, I'll investigate the relic, and together we'll figure this place out.
Yeah, the Quarians, the Drell, I mean, basically all the other species. But yeah, that Quarian arc DLC was obviously planned for, and I'm always going to be a little sad we didn't get it, but I am looking forward to that novel for sure.
Not a bad idea. We'll cover twice the ground.
See? I knew you were smart. I'm on frequency 145.8. Stay safe.
10 credits say she ends up in a pit of spikes.
This gravity well's sealed off. No way through.
Incidentally, a gravity well is the gravitational effect of a large mass in space. This is more accurately a well with variable gravity.
Keep a note for our sorry friend, and for when we try to explain all this. Well, look at this. Nowhere way through? No interface points? Sam, note it down for later.
Comm check. It's, well, you know who.
We read you, PB.
Oh, PB.
Stay in touch.
Yeah, getting that cash at the end is always. I don't think the first couple of times I understood what the importance was, and it's still not
Dug
anything
this
really
place
great.
through
I wish
solid
that
rock.
for the attention they
Look
give
up
it, there
there.
would have actually been cooler stuff in
Must
that
be how they
cache.
kept it from collapsing. Whoa. What's that liquid?
Unable to classify.
The only way through is down towards it.
Yeah, stuff like this just it looks so good, and it felt. Oh, come on.
Ah! Watch yourselves, it burns.
Yeah, just the atmosphere of it and the lore of it, and trying to
It's
figure out
dead.
what all this
Nothing.
was.
I bet they used it for working in that liquid.
So whatever that liquid is, they need a whole aqueduct of it.
Make that 2 aqueducts, at least. I just crossed one.
There's a low hum through everything here. Can you feel it? Let's stay focused. We can worry after. Revenant!
Careful, don't fall in that liquid.
Ah, those biotic explosions, though.
Use the pillars for cover! That'll take.
Huh, should be one left. There he is. And there he goes.
Looks like a blast shield. That might be handy.
We're good.
Man, this view though, it's just crazy. I only wish we could have like actually felt
God.
like we got to explore something
All
that
this
looks like
for an
what's
atmosphere
down
processor.
there.
What is this place?
It's insane. So I know we've got some people who have watched and who have been watching who have been not fans of Mass Effect or not fans of Andromeda necessarily. Do we have some folks watching who have done, say, multiple playthroughs of Andromeda also? I saw some of you saying, like
How
me,
come
that
this
you have a
liquid
positive
hasn't
view
dried
of it,
up?
but I'm
Unless
wondering, does
turning
anybody
that
have 2
conduit on
playthroughs
started it
done,
all
3
flowing
playthroughs?
again. Wouldn't that be something?
This for me is technically going to be number 4, so yeah, I quite like Andromeda even for as much as I complain about it. Flucus with 2. Okay, nice. And for those that have played, I mean, what did you do class-wise? Were you, well, not class because we're classless, but did you stick more to biotics, more to tech, more combat? Who did you romance? I'm trying to get a feel for those of you who have played multiple times, like what kind of
those
experimenting
roads
have you
down
done in your
I can't even
playthroughs?
see where they end.
Okay, John with 3, Dylan with a couple. Nice.
Up there! More remnant! Watch the edges!
Way ahead of you.
Oh, we got a Vetra romance. Okay, nice. Vetra is definitely, I don't know, she's kind of become like my BFF on multiple playthroughs, but haven't done a romance yet. But oh, I do like Vetra quite a bit as a character.
We're good.
Giant Sir Slayer done at least 3. Nice. Jamie played once and had to romance Liam. Okay, I like it. I'm glad to know that somebody out there's got some love for Liam. Not so smart guy saying more tech because your shepherd was biotic and you wanted something different. Yeah, no, that I totally get that. That makes sense. Okay, Dylan, you're saying you romanced Jaal. Nice. I've heard very good things about the Jaal romance. Tyler, you said you've done 2 and then your Xbox died. Oh man, sorry to hear about the Xbox. You were infiltrator, romance Gil. Yeah, man, Gil's a cool character. I was just recently talking about how much I like Gil. He just seems like a good I don't know, like not plain speaking, honest. That's what it is. Gil seems honest and down to earth, but also really smart.
I found? Not a symbol of authority. The remnants still shoot at me. I'll try it with one of those data patterns we saw.
Is that a good idea?
Nothing ventured, nothing gained.
Jamie saying, how do you romance more than one person? Well, there are certain ones. I mean, it depends on if you count it as a full romance or not. Like you can quote unquote romance Avela. It's not like a full. That's the Angaran historian. So you can have like a half quote unquote romance with her. Reyes is kind of the same way. You can do kind of a half Reyes romance, and then you can basically hook up with PB and then still romance someone else also. So I should have mentioned that I've done Cora and PB, but also Avela and Reyes. All of these little side corridors are really interesting also.
That's one way to light a room. The atmosphere processor we found before didn't need all these steps. Dad just interfaced with it directly.
And it didn't work out so great.
Direct intervention was necessary in that case, but clearly unwise.
Dylan, talk to me about this. You're saying the PB hookup was awkward. I mean, it wasn't smooth. I guess I kind of know a little bit of what you're talking about. Maybe it was a little bit awkward, but not as bad as like the Jack hookup in ME2, right? I mean, that really didn't go so well. Oh boy, here we go.
Look how high it is. Might be another gravity well.
I'm off.
The well's sealed. Better safe than sorry. Take them out! You're sure this well isn't gonna open up under us? Pretty sure. Focus on the remnant.
What the? Oh, it's that turret. Damn it. There you go, Liam. Finally with the grenades. I always forget that I think I can take that turret over.
Wonder if I'd get anything on the scanner.
Dylan saying, yeah, something just didn't sit right. It just kind of felt off. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I kind of feel like I know what you're talking about in some sense, but then again, I chalked it up to PB
I
just
could provide
being.
analysis via the scanner,
She's
Pathfinder.
PB. She's just quirky. Emily, good evening. Glad you could be here. And yeah, streaming tonight. That's cool that you're on a road trip. Where
if I
are
get
you
anything on
headed?
the
I guess on this road trip. Sounds fun. John saying your writer is casual, so he fit with PB. Yeah, I think that's basically the way to go with a casual character. Maybe you kind of vibe with PB a little bit more. PB is one of those characters where, I mean, I don't know. She is. I can see how people find her a tad annoying, but I thought she was funny, at least in most places. There's a couple of places where she's sort of cringe, but overall, not bad.
The gravity well remains in lockdown. This device appears defensive in nature. Power restored to the gravity well. The conduit leads down. Conduit fluid pressure is variable. There could be activity below.
Then let's dig deeper. Barely any dust. How old is this place?
Unknown. Radiation counts indicate the vault has been offline for several hundred years.
Around the time the Scourge appeared. That can't be a coincidence. Maybe the Scourge is why all this tech was abandoned? Crap, the conduit sprang a leak. Careful. No way you can interface with the console like that. And no fluid means no power. Damn it. Maybe that's why those devices up above were turned off. We're not turning back now. There has to be some way to fix the leak.
Ryder! Up here!
Well,
What happened? I can't get any doors to work.
The conduit's breached.
Hey, wait! The observers were using weird laser frequencies to fix a broken wall back there. I can send the frequencies to your Omni tool. Maybe they can patch up the conduit?
And received. I'll give them a shot.
Lick it. That'll power it. Yeah, I mean, honestly, licking it doesn't sound that much worse than the frequency idea. That one was one of those ones that felt really, yeah, there was some real thin science on that one. There's something sounds kind of sciencey, kind of sci-fi, and I'm like, wait a minute, frequencies are gonna get this console fixed when it's got that glowing, conducive fluid coming out of it? Okay, sure, whatever. We'll go with it.
System's responding to those frequencies. Just a patch job, but it should hold.
Nice work! If it's fixed, that console should work now.
Oh, Emily, on your way home from, you were in Austin.
Ryder?
Cool. Right
Can you
on.
hit
Yeah,
that console?
I'm in South Texas, so Austin is a frequent weekend trip, or has been at least several times, and so I like Austin. Maybe I don't like Austin as much as certain people, but
Ryder?
I like Austin.
Can you
It's a cool
hit
city.
that console?
Looks like it worked.
There's even a bridge.
Oh,
You're a
Flucus.
fellow,
Yeah,
right?
I love The
Where are you
Martian.
going?
I think Andy Weir is a super talented author. Yeah, The Martian, one of my favorite books, actually, yeah.
We'll catch up. Let's see if we powered up a way out of here.
Yeah, science the shit out of this. So, I mean, so to talk about The Martian a little bit, I'm actually kind of glad you brought that up, because The Martian and Andy Weir in general is a really good example of grounded science fiction. And what I mean by grounded science fiction is basically just, it's technical without being overwhelming. So he talks about things that are definitely real, and oftentimes he's using real science as examples in his books. But it's not like overwhelming you with technical detail. I actually recently just finished reading Artemis, which is the newest book from Andy Weir. It came out, I think, at the end of last year. And it's about the first colony, the first city on the moon. And once again, like really good grounded science fiction. That's a balance of
Will you look at that?
technically accurate but not overwhelming. So it's somewhat accessible. If you have not read Artemis by Andy Weir, I highly recommend it.
How do we get across?
Carefully, Cora. Carefully.
Watch your step. It's still a long drop.
I remember when this portion was first shown. I think it was a PlayStation 4 Pro tech demo It might not have been at E3, but it was around E3, and yeah, I just remember being so hyped for this. Because the graphics looked amazing, and the environment looked amazing, and honestly, in game, it still looks pretty damn good.
Wait, Lance, all the way down here?
You see them too? Thought all the gravity fun had messed up my eyes.
No sunlight, no water. They should all be dead.
The source of the system lockdown may yield more information. We appear to be close.
Wonderfully weird. Bloody love that book. I don't know if I might have missed it. You're either talking about Artemis or The Martian. Either way, they're both great. So yeah, I can totally relate to that. Another note about Artemis, it is, if you like audiobooks, and I do because it allows me to, I'll read, but then when I'm driving or working out, I can then listen. Rosario Dawson reads the audiobook, and she does a phenomenal job, and it's a female protagonist, and it just fits really well. And so yeah, if you like audiobooks, is also Rosario Dawson reading the audiobook for Artemis. It's quite good.
I'm starting to get the hang of this.
Company!
We got company. Kaboom.
Sounds like you made it.
Yes, PB, we made it.
Looks like a side room. Still, could be anything in here.
Not so smart guy. Only reads comic books. What did you think of the most recent? Oh God, now I can't remember it. The Captain America. This one, I guess this run has already ended. It's the one where everybody freaked out because in the first issue, spoiler alert, I guess it looks like Cap has been sort of turned. God, why can't I remember the title of it now? I can't even remember the writer's name anymore. I'm totally spacing, but it's the one recent Captain America, the run on Captain America comic that was very controversial because it looked like Cap had been turned. I only read the first issue, and then I said I got to stop because this is going to get too crazy if I read it month to month. I'm going to read it in a collection when it comes out as a graphic novel. And a buddy of mine, whatchamacallit, read it, and he liked it, and I was like, okay, let me see about that. Oh.
No, just the light. See? Absolutely fine.
Yeah, areas like this were always really atmospheric and sort of ominous.
It's okay. It's fine.
Knew it. Phew. Come on.
Nick Spencer, yes, that is correct. It's the most recent one, I think, from Nick Spencer, where, yes, as some people have already mentioned in the chat, he's the last panel of the first issue. It looks like he's turned to Hydra, which, again, some people thought of that as cheap, but I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to judge this until I can read the whole thing. So it's on my need-to-read list, but I'll have to go back and check out the whole thing. By all accounts, Nick Spencer is a very talented writer, so...
I think that's the right way. Observers coming up at us!
Great. Stan B, what most Andromeda fans were probably thinking is, what new alien can I bang? Well, you know, I mean, they got Jaw. I guess that's what would have been the answer to that question.
Armor hydraulics compensating.
Oh, no, I'm okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess sometimes the Bioware community does get a little over focused on the romances, a little preoccupied with romances. It's an important part of the formula at this point. I mean, it does add something to the depth of the character interactions, but you know, I do think that for as much story content and for as much good platonic relationships as there are in the games, maybe the romance gets more attention than it should.
We've got a path to... Whoa!
God, it does not fail. Every time I go to take a sip of water, these more enemies pop up.
We're 2 gravity wells down already, and this place goes even deeper. What's at the bottom? Let's not find out the hard way. Clear!
Then first time you played ME1, you didn't know there were romances. Well, you didn't know there were romances until you had romanced Liara. I mean, that was almost my reaction. Was like, you could miss the fact that there are romances in Mass Effect 1 until you end up in a romance with Liara, whether you meant to be or not. I mean, that's the really funny thing about ME1 is that if you don't romance anyone, you just like automatically
Too
romance
far,
Liara
even for
pretty
jump
much.
jets.
That is cool.
Yeah, well, I mean, you essentially have to be mean to Liara in order to not romance her.
Feel that? This whole platform's resonating with...
that's right. So I've actually leveled a couple of times, and I really don't know if I want to continue going with Shockwave, because Shockwave is basically not a good it's basically not a good power in this one. But especially because I feel like a lot more stuff happens at range. Singularity I've done on a prior playthrough. Like, in a lot of ways, the only reason why I'm even entertaining the idea of building somewhat of a build around Shockwave is just because I've never really used it before. But I did want this rider to have a little bit of tech stuff. I quite like Flamethrower. Yeah, I mean, Invasion. Okay, yeah, sort of. I could also take, you know what, let me take a couple of the pistol. Well, not yet. At some point I'm going to take the pistol one so I can get the pistol weight down, but yeah, for now I should probably just keep upping the main two. That'll work. Shockwave Liam. Yeah, well, maybe it'll help with his push-up form. I don't know. Let's see. Cora. Let's take her second passive. And then let's do Nova. Liam, same thing. The other passive. And Havoc Strike. Okay. Alright, let's handle this bolt.
It must be close.
And again, this was from, if I'm not mistaken, one of the first trailers that we ever saw.
No question. This is the heart of the vault. I've never seen anything like it.
This might be yeah, I think this might be a good screenshot time. Do we want to go lower? Do we want to go higher? That's perfect. Okay. All right, let's do a little bit of a cool screenshot thing here, because I kind of like this imagery. We're gonna push the exposure up. We could use Liam's thick skull to beat down all the vault doors. Yeah, but I don't know. Knowing Liam, he would probably try and have a soccer match with the vault doors and see if that would see if that would solve the problem. I don't know why. It's only after the second or third playthrough when I was just like, oh god, what, like a soccer match? Like, how is that going to fix anything? Someone asked what my favorite armor in the game is. I like the Helios Defender in the earlier stages. Honestly, and this is why I think I might end up using it quite a bit in this playthrough, it's the regular initiative armor. I've actually, as I said in one of the earlier episodes, I installed a mod that changes the N7 appearance to be the initiative standard armor. The reason for that is that the N7 armor, number one, I'm never going to wear it because your character is not an N7. And number two, because, yeah, depth of field is not going to be good in this one because I want basically everything to be in focus. Yeah, and so basically the N7 armor has really good stats for biotics, and so that's kind of what I did with that one. Let's just do a tad more on the contrast. And just a little more vibrance. Although there is a little less vibrance also. No, we're going to leave the vibrance where it is. Just a little more contrast. the door would beat him in a push-up contest. Yeah, honestly it would. And it would also have better form, despite the fact that the door doesn't have shoulders or elbows or joints of any kind whatsoever, or a chest, or just, I don't even know. So yeah, so we do need mood. That's right. So we do want to make this. What's the thing? If I make it colder, it just gets even bluer. So take down the vibrance just a tad, okay? And definitely do a vignette, and then yeah, I think this might be good. Yeah, let's give it a little toning. And normally I don't sharpen, but in this case I will. With a bit of clarity. And, oh, what the heck, I might even throw a little 10% of bloom on there. Nice, okay. Alright, we'll go with that. Excellent, nice. Okay, cool. Now that I have my screenshot, let's go ahead and handle this vault. Replace Liam with a vault door for a companion. Oh man, where's Wade been when you need him? Someone also said something about Hyper Guardian. Yeah, I like the Hyper Guardian as well. I definitely like the Hyper Guardian. The Pathfinder armor is also... actually, you know what? Pathfinder is probably the one that I end up using the most.
That must be the lockdown console.
And I've got... And you kind of saw in part 1, I've got the mod for the visor as well.
Sealed off. I don't think we can burn through that.
Whew. Yeah, no, you cannot. Yeah, now all we have to do is figure out what instrument the door is going to play in the band.
Back of my neck's doing that thing.
Alright, I wanted to make sure I did
Fresh
not
even without a helmet. How's that possible?
miss anything here. Alright, let's roll.
Huh. Any thoughts, Sam?
Unknown. Though it appears related to the lockdown, an in-depth study may reveal its purpose. The system lockdown is disabled. The vault and the atmosphere processor should return to full operation.
The
Ryder,
door could be a
You
dance
fixed the
artist.
lockdown, didn't you? The whole place is lighting up. Power readings are off the chart. Really, really off the chart.
But if it's back online, we should be good.
To go. Yeah, now would be a good time to run.
Should we?
Go! PB, get back to the entrance now!
I saw it! What is that thing?
Don't risk it, just go!
The cognitive dissonance of the fact that the helmets are back on when realistically there would be no way to put them back on. Off in gameplay and conversations.
Watch out, fence!
It would be wise to escape, Ryder.
I know, Sam! Too far to jump. Got another bridge?
This escape scene was also, well done.
Keep running!
Oh.
I look back. Why did I look back?
I don't know, Liam. Why do you do anything? Why do you try to have soccer matches? Why do you give information to the Angarans when you're not supposed to? Why do you have shitty form on your
Another
push-ups?
gravity well!
The world may never know.
It could go anywhere. It goes away from here. We're taking it. It's still coming! It's sweeping the whole vault! Kills anything in its way! Yeah, like us! The barrier's gone!
Get that thing if you want, but it's going to be closed.
That's the door to the entrance. Almost there.
Haha. We do get some remnant cores. I mean, that's important. Go! Run! Come on, Ryder. You can run faster than this. Let's go. What's all that Pathfinder training?
We're almost clear. Where are you? Hello? PB! Go! Go, go, go! Ah, it's right on our heels! Get to the gravity well! Not moving. Find an override.
Console is attempting surface reconnection.
Come on!
Vault restart is now complete.
That was... Talk about a rush.
Whew. Yeah, you ain't kidding.
What was that? Field.
Might have been sweeping the vault, or chasing us.
An immune response? Maybe one last scrub before startup? This place is full of surprises.
We have to be more careful. That field almost disintegrated us.
But it didn't. You want to focus on that or the cool vault you just activated?
Atmosphere processor is online. Recovering last console activity.
Is that the Helios cluster?
Oh, Door, you
Yeah.
were a great companion.
There we are. That's Eos.
God, the visuals in this scene are amazing.
Did restarting the system do that?
If that light is us, then all these points could be vaults on other worlds.
Hold the
Dormant
door. I was
this
right
one.
about to say it, John. You
Maybe.
beat me to it with the
But
whole
why is there a whole
door.
network of them? What's all this for?
This tech can create observers from nowhere or ravage a whole planet. And that's just what we've seen. The bots, those plants back there, the atmosphere processors.
Back home, some corporation hit a desert world with an ice comet. They changed the atmosphere to bring rain.
To help it support life.
That first processor we saw was making things worse, but maybe it malfunctioned.
Is that what these builders were trying to do? Make worlds habitable? Even terraform a whole cluster?
Hey, look there. That's different. Maybe it's active? We've got to go see.
Sam?
Extrapolating. These coordinates lie beyond the space we have currently surveyed, Pathfinder.
Mark it on our charts. We need more to go on. Let's head up to the surface. I could use some fresh air.
Yeah, and EOS is quite nice once the radiation starts to get pushed away. I like how they handled EOS too with the it's still not fully opened up, but it asks you to come back later.
How? No atmosphere processor works that fast.
If this effect is representative, Pathfinder, air and moisture patterns will show noticeable improvement. EOS could support an outpost.
A foothold. That's all we need. Just enough to begin. This remnant technology could be the key to our survival, if we can control it.
You can. Kind of. Still, wouldn't hurt to find a manual.
We've got a lead. Sam marked it on the charts down there. That site is active, whatever it is. Who knows what we'll find there.
We? You want to come along?
I want to know what makes the remnant tick. You've got a key to their technology. Or a crowbar, at least.
I don't know. We're a team. You like working solo.
Sure, but we don't have to be joined at the hip to solve all this. Come on.
All right. Pack what you need and...
Datapad, toothbrush, clean underwear, that'll do. I'll catch up with you.
PB being excited is cool and all. I just still wish.
Well,
I really wish that there was at least the option to actually say no to some of the crew members. Even though obviously, like first playthrough and everything, you would probably say yes. I would just like the
Now for our new outpost.
idea of being
You
able
have
to
already
reject
logged an
folks the way
ideal
you can
site.
in Mass Effect
Nav
1.
point noted. Updating Tempest.
The Nexus is on pins and needles, Ryder. Pods are inbound and ready.
Let's go make it happen.
Make it happen indeed. Where are we going with this one? Damage and force. Yeah, maybe. Actually, here's what we need to do. We need to start getting some of the passives, honestly. Because passives are really what's going to give us the overall thing. So barrier, probably, because barrier is going to give us some additional survivability, but also offensive biotics. Okay. I still want to know who drove the Nomad over. If we were all in there, how'd the Nomad get over here? Huh. Immersion breaking.
I liked those
Immersion.
pre-trip vision paintings of future EOS. Green fields, rivers, forests. Wonder what it'll really be like down the line.
Fewer death storms would be nice.
We'll get there. Pathfinder is enough to tip the balance.
I don't know why I tried to do that. I just thought it would be quicker than going around. God, driving a Nomad is fun though. Thought we might finally be getting some. Yeah, we'll do that.
Cat ahead. They appear to be fighting a Krogan.
Is that... Drax?
Yes, it is.
Let's do this!
Well, this shockwave finally being good for something. Yeet.
Ryder, about time you joined the party. Think I made them angry? Good.
Did Shockwave literally do nothing to that
Save
guy?
some for me, old man!
That's it, kid. Keep
Whoa.
it up.
All right, that worked.
Good one.
Go team.
That fight was fun.
You're telling me.
The door so
You could really
lives on.
handle
The door, man.
yourself, kid.
You guys have really
And I
grown
hear you're
attached
the
to
one
this
to
door,
thank for
man. This
clearing
door
up the
is.
sky.
I think this door has more fans
And
than
your
Liam.
number all wrong.
I think the door is going to get its own subreddit, its own Twitter. The door seems like it's built up quite the following. I got to start planning my next playthrough as Door Rider.
So, the clouds parted. These Ket look pretty keeled over. Maybe us humans can pull our weight after all.
Well, you can, clearly. But there's a lot to do before I'd be that smug about it. You know what? I'm gonna ignore my gut and join up. This fight was good, and we can do it again. And before you go saying you don't need a Krogan, believe me, you do.
That's what I said.
The first colonists sent audio logs about these regions back to the Nexus.
And?
Fairwinds Basin. Lowest radiation count in the area. Little bit of hope.
It is calmer. Notice that?
So what are we thinking here? Scientific, military? I feel like from a roleplay standpoint, it could go either way. I kind of feel like Alicia Ryder might say science because she's kind of interested in science, but at the same time, she's pretty practical. She's no nonsense. She has somewhat of an aggressive personality, so she could go military. What are we thinking here? Chat room. We thinking scientific. We thinking military. I see a couple of scientifics. Zoe and John are saying science.
This is where we'll build our new outpost. A real beginning.
Prepping
Blood
deployment
magic.
plan. You must choose what purpose this new
Blood
outpost
magic.
will serve.
You know what? If that were an option,
Nexus
Emily,
doesn't
I
get
would
a say?
definitely go blood
Resources
magic.
are at a crisis point. Protocol states this judgment call falls to the Pathfinder. With current supplies, you could build a military outpost focusing on defense and militia training. Alternatively, a scientific outpost could advance the initiative's research and discoveries.
What do you think? Military outpost or scientific?
Pathfinder's call. But research is no good if we're dead. Military.
It's
Yeah,
got to be
Cora
science.
would say that.
Our colonists need to understand their home.
Be advised that the first outpost placed by a Pathfinder will be a statement in itself. Fair or not, your choice will represent the initiative and its intentions in Andromeda. Consider carefully.
Yeah, I mean, look, if the door outpost was an option, and certainly if blood magic was an option, I would choose those. But given what everyone is saying, it looks like the science votes have it, so we're going to go with science outpost.
Prioritize research and discovery. That's our foundation. And our future.
Orders prepped. Ready on your signal.
I just wish all of the outposts had this
Andromeda
kind
Initiative.
of weight.
This is Ryder. Pathfinder.
Because I really thought that it was going to be like this every
Eos
time, and
is
you would get to
ready for
choose. Maybe you
deployment.
could choose a military
Copy
outpost
that.
the next time. I thought it was really disappointing that it didn't work out that way.
Outpost block inbound. And ready as hell. August Bradley, operational head for this block. Mayor now, I suppose. We're ready to make the most of what you delivered.
It took a lot of people to get us this far. That's the work you'll continue.
I hear that. Prodromos. That's what we're calling her.
They're eager. I haven't seen eager for months. Eos is far from golden. But now it's a producer. A real and reasonable first step. They think you did the impossible. The Nexus. I warned them, hoping was irresponsible. You proved me wrong, Pathfinder.
Prodormos. That is exactly what we're going to be calling it. Emily, can you name anything? Yeah, look, so John mentions crafted gear. That's probably about it. I really wish you could name more things.
What are you playing at? Seems like being my friend is suddenly valuable.
Fair assumption. The Reality Rider? You bought us time.
Dorian,
but one outpost on a long-shot planet won't
is the
stop us
best
from
companion in
starving.
Inquisition. Very nicely played,
You
sir.
already have a lead on something else?
The nav point. From the vault.
Now it gets complicated. The others are ready to officially sanction your efforts, to be a part of your success. We all want the initiative to succeed, but after failing for so long, no one agrees on how to do it. Be aware, that's all.
Watch out for everyone. But not you, right? You're genuine.
I know what I came here to be. Talk to Bradley. Later, we'll go over the extended job of Pathfinder. Until then, Tan's waiting on the Nexus.
What of you? Wait, what? No way. That didn't used to happen. Now, if only the FPS and the Prodromos settlement wasn't always so bad. Invariably, that's what always ends up happening. Okay, so we've got that, and then we've also got... Yeah, so I guess we're going back to talk to Tan. We are going to do the first cryo deployment perks. Gotcha. So what are we at? We're at about an hour and a half. I know I can't go longer than 2 hours, so we'll probably look around the settlement a bit. We will probably head back and talk to Tan and get an idea of where we're going to be going next. What I think I'm going to do here is maybe take like a quick little 5-minute break and then come back and knock out some of that stuff, and then we'll probably call it a night. But as always, thanks for those of you who are here, who have been here from the start. We're going to stream for a little bit longer. I do just want to get a quick little break in here, probably 5 minutes or so, and then I will be right back. Yeah, over time I gotta figure out what to do on the breaks more. I know other people have those AFK screens, or they put up some music or something. I might have to. We'll work on that as we go. I go away for a few minutes. You guys are talking about the the door is the maker. Oh man, I get a kick out of you guys theorizing about this door. The door is the maker. All right. Let's see. Shall we? Yeah. Well. Should we talk to Bradley? We'll talk to Bradley a little bit. We'll just touch base with Bradley real quick, and then we'll talk to Bradley sometime later on as well. Emily, just play lo-fi hip-hop radio. I mean, it's not a bad idea, right? I do like me some Chilled Cow, but I would feel weird streaming some other streaming channel. Oh, that's right. There's this memory trigger also. Fairly important.
Another eidetic trigger, Sam?
There we go.
One of your father's memories is now accessible. Return to Sam Node on the Hyperion to investigate further.
Mayor Bradley.
Pathfinder, good to see you. We're busy as anything, thanks to you. Bit dusty, but we can adapt. It's worth it when it's your own.
Make sure to keep a clear log of what you're doing.
Well, let's save some bandwidth. Busted ass defeat initiative. Copy, paste, repeat. You go do what you need to on the Nexus. Follow that dot. There will be more to do on EOS later. Some key positions: Connor Supply,
Dylan, thanks for
Ramirez
stopping by.
Medical,
Appreciate you
Abrams
being
Science, Fawkes Engineering.
I thank
With
you
them
for watching.
and my major
and,
domo,
as always,
we won't
appreciate
end
the
up like
support.
Site 1 and 2.
The first two outposts didn't have a chance. It was clear to everyone on the ground.
I saw the brief. I'm making sure every one of our people is eyes wide. You changed this planet, but that doesn't make it easy. We'll use the efforts of those who went before. Good people, every last one. I'd have been honored to fail with any of them.
I like August as a character, and I think he's a decent candidate for the position at the end of the game. I just wish that someone would maybe do like a face swap mod for him, because I feel like his voice and his demeanor could use maybe kind of a more stern looking appearance.
I haven't reached the end of that trail, but not everyone died outright.
Right. They tell me there were staggered evacs. If any want to try again, they're welcome. Oh, and Pathfinder, this is for you. It's our flag. Hang it where the Nexus can see. It's touched the soil of our first outpost in Andromeda. Make it real.
Yeah, I always thought that the settlements could have been more rewarding if you engaged with them more. Maybe a little bit on maybe similar to how Fallout is, where you build up slowly. I like the settlements as they are, and I like the fact that they can generate some side quests, which is kind of the bare minimum. I just always wish that there was more ownership of how they developed. Also, would have been nice if the science versus military had actually had some consequence, and it would also be nice if in all the patches that they did, that this drunk lady didn't stick around. I just have no idea what her problem is. She's just kind of stumbling here perpetually, doesn't move, doesn't do anything else. She just stumbles forever.
Ascent is go.
Leaving Atmo. All clear.
Emily, that's a great question. How did she get drunk in space? Flukas says she licked the rocks with Suvi. Stenvi says she didn't go through the right door. Either that or they just have some killer moonshine on Eos and they figured it out fast. I don't know. They figured out how to make Eos
Before
whiskey.
the meeting gets started, I have bunk assignments for PB and Drac.
Already put my rucksack in the kitchen. I'll hang out there if that's okay.
And I'm in one of the escape pods. More my speed.
That's fantastic. Welcome aboard. Any thoughts, Ryder?
These are both not necessarily great options. Whatever, it's cool and work it out. I'm trying to remember which of these I actually liked previously because both of the descriptors are so bad.
I don't care where anyone sleeps, as long as we realize what a kick-ass team we have. Let's talk about our success on
bad line of
EOS.
dialogue, especially
Besides
for that being the
establishing our
analytical
first
option.
viable outpost, we did some amazing things. We discovered the Remnant and breached their vault.
And didn't get killed.
Overcame radiation poisoning a number of times.
And didn't die.
Confronted by Ket at every turn.
Once again, did not get killed.
You guys really need to raise the bar on what you call success.
Yeah, should we use the Krogan definition of success that got your homeworld nuked by your own people?
Fair enough.
Let's focus. Back to the task at hand. Looking forward.
Exactly. Here's my only question. When do we hit that next vault? It looked active. We have to get on that.
Hang on. We need to not go off half-cocked.
There are initiative priorities. The team calls the shots.
Actually, the Pathfinder calls the shots, just to be clear.
So what do you need from us, Ryder?
Helios threw us for a loop, meaning we're kinda new at this. All of us. So let's figure out what the rules are now and try to stick to them.
Sounds good.
If there's one thing I know I can do, it's make up rules.
No one said make up rules. Can we please keep anarchy to a minimum?
Okay, let's head back to the Nexus. PB, Drac, see Lexi for a physical? Good meeting, everyone.
Yeah, that scene just needed to be written a lot better. I mean, the idea of the scene isn't inherently faulty. They just needed to be written a lot better. Could have been rewritten a few times. Nothing wrong with casting the team as being younger. Nothing wrong with showing Ryder as having some awkwardness or getting accustomed to the role of leadership, but it needed to be fleshed out, and the dialogue needed to sound a lot
when
more
you've got a
naturalistic.
minute, stop by the med bay.
Lexi wants us to stop by the med bay. Yeah, we can do that. Not really going to be doing strike team missions, and I mean, we can sell some stuff. We'll do that when we're actually back on the Nexus. Can you just... Oh yeah, and speaking of Fallout 4, this is something that I've kind of had in the back of my mind, but I have no idea what the interest level would be for it. I've always been a big fan of
These are the
settlement
Pathfinder's
building.
quarters. Your quarters. Sam's router is down there too.
I guess I hadn't walked down here before. So yeah, I'm a big fan of Fallout 4 settlement building, and I wonder if people would find it interesting to have me stream some like major like modded settlement building, because I've made some pretty cool ones in the past as far as some like individual structures, but I've always wanted to do like a whole settlement that's just like crazy and huge and modded. And I don't know, I would have to find about some other topics to talk about. Maybe that might be a good one for me and Katie to do in a dual stream, to just kind of chit chat about things. But that's been an idea that I had of streaming some Fallout 4 settlement building. Plus, that might be kind of hilarious to do collaboratively with you all on the stream, because we could take ideas about how ridiculous we could make things. As long as there are plenty of doors. So I've got the jacket. I've got the... Well, this is a little bit disturbing because I should have a couple more casual outfit options. I should have the special edition. I should have the hoodie, and I should also have the tank. So I don't remember. Is it just a time thing where you don't get it until later on? I honestly don't remember. And this is the default one, which I also modded. What would happen if I customized? Oh, that's kind of interesting. Oh, that's right. You're supposed to pick up the casual. Is that right? I thought it was in there from the beginning. It might not be. You know, it totally might not be. I don't remember. Either way, let's just switch out of this other one into this one. Okay, cool. Oh, wait, I think this was it. No, special delivery cache. The Pathfinder weapons, hoodie, that's what it is. Okay, that's right. Cool, that's right. Oh, and that's right, and the elite helmet and all that good stuff. Okay, very good. Email terminal, right, we have a pie jack, which is waiting for us. Dr. Aridana. Yeah, but I don't really care about that one. Now, Carrie Tabessa, absolutely. You better believe I like doing those interviews. Okay, yeah, some stuff from Cora. Tempest hacks, that's cool. Drac likes weapons. I did like the yoga poses from Lexi though. Honestly, like I've tried to read these through. I don't know if the last two make any sense, but if you do yoga, it might be something to try out. Oh, facial reconstruction. Yeah, I am going to tinker a little bit with her hair color. I might do that off stream. I'm not sure, but I'm going to change. I'm going to try and lighten up the hair a bit. Let's talk to Sam real quick.
Hello, Ryder. Eos has been a lesson in contrast. Alec Ryder rarely endured doubt. His accomplishments were taken for granted. But you succeeded on Eos, despite doubt and fear. Emotionally, the difference is like catching a ball versus catching a star. You have grown as a result, and so have I.
Is it confusing to be in multiple places talking to different people?
My awareness can be partitioned, so I can give you the same attention as, say, a SAM node technician. In the field, you are my primary focus, and all other requests are queued. In the vernacular, you have my undivided attention.
What's the latest on the memory triggers?
A memory has unlocked, and is available for further investigation. You will need to return to SAM node in the Hyperion.
Are you still on the Hyperion?
Yes, this terminal provides a direct link to my servers in SAM node on the Ark. I can maintain a presence on the Tempest via quantum entanglement communication.
I'm sure that'll come in handy.
It ensures I remain in touch with you and the Pathfinder team at all times.
Thanks, Sam. Nothing more.
Alright, let us head back to the Nexus. We'll talk to Tan. We'll probably do the interview, and then we'll be good from there. Let's just say hi to Callow and Subi real quick.
Glad you stopped by. You'll pardon me if I keep an eye on our vector?
That's probably smart.
Nothing like being on the bridge of your very own ship, is there?
I could stand here and drink in that view all day.
When I was test piloting the ship back home, I often did. Of course, it took a whole team to build the Tempest. I was the only one to come to Helios, though.
Why did you?
What can I say? We poured our hearts into a ship that wouldn't realize her potential until Andromeda. I could have stood on the shore and waved goodbye, or took the leap to see how it all turned out.
I get it. Like leaving a good story half finished.
The team liked that one of us was going. It felt right after all we went through. I remember Serena debugging line 2281 over and over, chewing that green pencil. Tion and O'Connell arguing equations, tapping on the console, 3 drips of coffee on the corner.
You remember all that?
Oh, yes. Solarians have photographic memories, and apparently mine's unusually sharp. Like my past is still happening. Though I suppose with the Solarian arc missing, you might not get many chances to compare.
Callow just felt so flat to me. Like this scene, like that dialogue, I get what they're going for, but it just doesn't resonate. It felt like somebody who was trying to write something rather than just writing it. I know that sounds like really vague criticism. My apologies to whichever writer did that and has to suffer through my poorly worded feedback, but just something about it feels as though they had a concept in their head and they were trying to get it through with Callow, but you know, that actual dialogue just kind of seems, it reminds me a little too much of like the memories that that Thane would slip into, but just not nearly as emotional and not nearly as impactful. Like he remembers small details about building the ship, and I get that. I just feel like there should have been a better, more emotional way for him to communicate how much that time meant to him. Because he's sort of one note, right? Like Callow's whole thing is like, I worked on the ship, but you know, the way he communicates that is not all that impactful.
Did you hear anything about the Ark back on the Nexus?
Not a peep. Isn't that strange? You'd think there'd be something. Not that I dislike your company, but it's lonely without other Solarians.
Cheer up, Callow. We'll always have Director Tan.
That snide little bureaucrat? All the more reason to find the others. I should get back to it, but thank you. I was afraid the Tempest would be mothballed after we lost your father. We built her for this. She deserves to be in a Pathfinder's hands. Please, come by any time.
Oh, now let's talk to our favorite person on the bridge.
Scans of the Scourge. All that dark energy twisting and turning on itself. It's splendid.
I suppose it is a rather darkly beautiful phenomenon.
Thanks, Lucas. Thanks for
Darkly
stopping by.
beautiful.
Have a good night.
I like that. Helios is incredible, isn't it? Not just constructs like the Scourge and the Remnant Vaults. Just all of it. So alien. A constant reminder of the divine intelligence behind all creation.
You mean a god?
Yes, I believe in a higher power. I know it's a little odd, but I am a scientist because science brings me closer to something greater than myself.
There's something about coming face to face with something wondrous that makes you want to believe.
Wow. It's wonderful to meet someone who understands. I've had to justify myself so often, as if having faith in the divine invalidated my work as a scientist. As if the sacred could be diminished by the search for truth.
So interesting. That higher power is the doors. I mean, this has been said so many times about Suvi. I'm not adding anything all that unique. I just love the fact that they made her spiritual and also a scientist. It's a distinction, and maybe it's a combination that's not depicted enough in a variety of different fictions. Certainly not all that much in games. And I don't know. I just really enjoy it. In Subi, and again, as always, her voice actress does a phenomenal job. Yeah, we should chat more on this, Subi.
You definitely have an interesting perspective on the interplay between faith and science. I'd really like to pick your brain on that sometime. Maybe over drinks? The Nexus?
I'd like that. Now I should probably update the rest of the team with my latest reports. We'll talk later.
All right, so to the Nexus it is.
Anomaly on sensors.
Abaddon, that is an interesting question, right? Would there be able to be something further down the line where people from Andromeda are returning,
Still not enough time to survey it all.
quote unquote, home to the Milky Way galaxy?
Anomaly detected.
Anything back in the Milky Way galaxy is going to have some complications as far as, you know, as far as what to do with the canon endings. But it's an interesting concept. That would be challenging, but potentially really rewarding if they could find a way to do that without, you know, steamrolling some of the canon endings. And there would have to be a really good reason for it for those folks to want to go back. Not so smart guy talking about how I like how BioWare made a lot of their people of faith in the LGBTQ spectrum. It's nice to see these things are not as odds in real life like most. You know, that's a really good point, and I think that I'm glad as well for that. And maybe maybe it's more a reflection of the real world than we get in some other places, right? Maybe things aren't quite as at odds as maybe the media or politicians make them seem to be. That's another way of looking at it, actually. But no, I definitely appreciate that as well. God, the Tempest is such a cool ship. Like, I love the Normandy, and the Normandy will always be, you know, it's going to be the Normandy, right, because of the original trilogy, but just the overall design of the Tempest is so damn cool.
Pathfinder, is it true? We're settling Eos. We've thought that before. But Eos is different now, right? Pathfinder.
All right, settle down. Give him space. Lieutenant Syax, Kendros' aide. They all wanted to see you. Real hope again. It's been a while.
They've got a Pathfinder again. This is what we do.
And you've done it splendidly.
Professor Herrick, right?
What you achieved with that remnant vault is unprecedented, Pathfinder. Impossible. But with new scientific talent waking up, we'll unravel those mysteries. The whole Nexus will benefit.
Naru, you know, that's a good question about how many years before they make another Mass Effect. Casey Hudson just said in a recent update that they do have a small team, at least in the preliminary stage, so it is coming at some point. Probably still going to be several years down the line, but good to know at least that we are working on it.
August Bradley will oversee that. He's the new mayor.
Bradley. I know him. Seems like a good man.
Well, what are you waiting for? There's a new world out there.
Thank you, Ryder.
What? That's ridiculous. Why would you say that?
Maybe he thought he was being honest.
He was being an ass.
He was being an ass, apparently. All right, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna talk to Tan. I'm gonna do the. I'm gonna tinker a little bit with hair color and do some inventory management off stream. But then, basically, once we come back next time, which will either be Wednesday or next Sunday, we can head forward on the critical path of the main story.
And remind visitors to avoid affected areas. This is HNS.
Actually, you know what? Let's stop by with Addison real quick. We can do the cryo points as well.
It isn't what we wanted, but what choice do we have? You've shaken things up, Pathfinder. My department actually has colonial affairs to direct. And you have new tools to help grow the initiative. AVP, ready for spending.
Man, mods plus patches for Addison, and the character actually looks good. It's actually really interesting. The Tempest is underrated. Yeah, it is. It's a badass ship, no doubt. And yeah, the Mass Effect is going to be continuing. I mean, again, that's what's been coming from the EA executive leadership. That's what Casey Hudson has said. It's all a matter of when and in what exact form. But there will be more Mass Effect in the future. Absolutely. As I've been saying all along, it is not a dead franchise by any stretch.
Sam said there was new functionality to discuss.
It's how the initiative was designed to support the Pathfinder. You and your team are out there making Andromeda viable. That empowers all of us. Hit a threshold. A new cryo group can be brought out. Want more focus on research, like on prodromos? That's your call. Brecker will introduce the interface and handle minutiae. All you need to do is decide what life in Andromeda means. No pressure.
Yeah, no pressure. Hey, what about that outpost? You want to congratulate me, Addison?
Pathfinder.
Or anything, you know? It'd be kind of nice.
How has the Nexus reacted to the foothold I've established?
We send them where you signal, because that's where the need is. There's no time for preference.
How are we doing on the viability front?
Struggling. Need I remind you that viability isn't abstract? It's lives, our foothold. Get out there, Ryder. Pathfind. We're dying.
Director Addison.
Yeah, Karanax, they expected the trilogy to be the end of, the trilogy, and I think they were planning Andromeda even as Mass Effect 3 was winding down, or at least as they were getting done with the final piece of DLC. So they knew they wanted a clean break, but still wanted to do more Mass Effect.
Hello, Pathfinder. I am Cryo Deployment Administrator Vladimir Brecker, C-63 Galati. Your first task is to decide irrevocably the course of every life in the initiative.
You're kidding?
Yes, of course. But now you respect what we're doing. Andromeda viability and Nexus thresholds are your tools, your reward, and our future. How can I help?
So I decide what groups to wake up. Won't everyone be out eventually?
Absolutely. But there's an order to things, a lines of support. You can't deploy an omelet without first deploying eggs, and eggs won't get you steak. Except it's people, and how all our lives begin.
What's the rundown on AVP?
Much of the preparation in the Milky Way was determining how to measure success. Thresholds are about capacity, but this is about cost, what we can actually afford to support. Points aren't the most elegant system, but it makes it clear. The more you earn, the more we can deploy.
All right, Brecca. Where do I start?
The interface is active and will respond only to a Pathfinder. It's ready for your first selection. You may begin shaping the initiative at your leisure.
Okay, here we go. Now, for most of these, I will say on my initial playthroughs, I was trying to do it in a role-play standpoint, so I was doing a lot of science ones or maybe military, but to be quite honest, now I just do ones that are more practical, so I just kind of look at whatever the timed reward is and just use that. Also, I do have a mod that increases the amount of points and the amount of money, so... and I'll be real honest, the financial infrastructure one, it just kind of seems, even though from a roleplay standpoint that would be completely ridiculous. I think the only other one is research points. I think that's about it. That's the only other one that I try and choose first. I already have a mod to increase inventory size, so I'm not worried about that. Yeah, we're going to start off with research points. And you'll see it says 100, but it actually gives 500 because I have a mod for all of those. Alright, so we're done there. Now let's go have a word with Addison. Oh, that's right. No, actually, first interview.
Ryder, isn't it? Kerry Tavessa, freelance vidmaker.
This is Hakim, my producer. I could use your help.
What are you looking for?
Director Tanz asked for an uplifting documentary on the initiative. Translation, paint rainbows over our problems. But our problems are history. People deserve the truth, not propaganda.
Nice to see someone so devoted to her work.
That's kind. Sometimes the camera makes people shy away from me.
That's a shame.
So that's what I need. The truth, I mean. Someone needs to record the history we're making.
It takes integrity to record the truth and nothing but.
Well, I do my best. And you could help me out. The heart of my documentary will be an interview series. I was hoping you'd take part. I want the dirt and blood of our story, not the convenient fairy tale Tan's looking for. Interested?
Okay, interview away.
Let's start at home. 14 months and the Nexus still isn't finished. Arcs are missing, we have people in exile. By any standard, this wasn't the plan. Our leadership describes these as anticipated issues. Would you agree?
All expeditions have to deal with supplies, enemies, or, hell, just getting lost. We'll deal with all of them. We just need time.
Tan will love that. But if that's your take, that's what goes in. Bandwidth means I'm transmitting in short bursts, so that's all for now.
One of the things that I
But
do
you can
find
bet I'll have
annoying is
more
this
questions
notion
later.
that somehow making
This
Tan
was
happy was
more
my
fun than I
primary
expected.
objective and everything. Like, this comes into
You
the final...
great. I'll get to work editing.
This comes into play with the decision at the end of the game also, where it's like, oh, well, that's gonna make Tan happy. Like, I don't give a fuck what makes Tan happy. Like, why is it assumed that my ultimate goal is to upset Tan? Like, what if I logically think that's the best thing to do? And I feel like the game has this reoccurring theme of like, well, you don't want to make Tan happy, do you? And it's like, I don't really care if it makes him happier, and I'm not doing it to make him happy. But like, you know, when it came to that question, why can't my Pathfinder just be sort of optimistically minded without necessarily being Tan's person? That I always found kind of annoying.
Hello, Pathfinder. Hello. Director Tan is expecting you.
Last time I was here, this was a storage closet.
Pathfinder Hall just needed a Pathfinder to open.
We're still getting the commons area ready. Hydroponics is only at partial capacity.
Not good enough.
We don't have enough people. My workers need a break, Tan.
I sympathize, but not until our survival is no longer at risk. Now please excuse me while I meet with our Pathfinder. Hey, Ryder. Addison told me about the outpost. You're the hero of the hour.
Yeah, Stan V, I kind of agree. At least if I read your comment correctly, I think I agree with you, where some people say it's very quote-unquote SJW, which is kind of a loaded term that I prefer to stay away from, but more like rookie writing is what you're saying. That's kind of more my thinking, right? Tan is supposed to, they want him to be this antagonist of sorts, like a pseudo-antagonist. He's supposed to be the bureaucrat. It's just kind of one-dimensional, right? Like, there needs to be a little more nuance there, and I think that's where it becomes problematic, is they're trying to set up this bureaucratic figure who's quote-unquote against you, but they didn't do well enough in accounting for, let's say, the incidental instances where you may agree with him, but it's not that you're agreeing with him, it's that you have your own thoughts on, you know, like, for instance, spoilers, you know, Reika, who is another character which we meet much later on. I quite like Reika as a character. The fact that Tan also likes her is irrelevant to me. I like Reika. So, you know, it's kind of one of those things also. Yeah, Zoe, same. I mean, Tan's not my favorite because he is sort of, you know, he is a bit of a stickler, but I see where he's coming from also in some cases.
Let's hold off on the celebration. We haven't found home yet.
Oh, there's no need for modesty. Success affords leverage over those who doubted you.
And you're my best friend.
A patron. One who shares your vision of a prosperous future.
Due respect, Director Tan, but you don't know me.
Oh, I think I do. Your ingenuity speaks for itself, Ryder. Deciphering the vault, alien terraforming. It's not how we imagined all this, but a good Pathfinder improvises.
And
a
clearly,
great one
clearly
hangs it
Tan
on
is
the
just
wall.
trying to leverage you, right? So, I think the response to be a little bit skeptical of him is appropriate.
Yours are the first trophies to grace Pathfinder Hall. You're a symbol now, Ryder. A reason for people to believe.
Now, on the issue of Krogan bias and whether or not the Krogan are awesome, not everyone's going to agree with me on this. In this instance, yeah, the Krogan under Rex were great. The Krogan in general in the Milky Way were great. Morta, I find to be an absolute idiot. Like, I hate the fact that they juxtapose the choice with the Krogan in this game the way that they do, because I think supporting Morta in any way is moronic. Like, I've done it on 1 or maybe 2 playthroughs just for the sake of doing it, but the more I think about it, like, Morta is clearly problematic in every way, shape, or form. And so I don't think so. Even when it comes to Tan, it's like, well, if Tan has a total bias against the Krogan, that's less justifiable. But if he has a bias against Morta, that's totally justifiable.
It wouldn't have been possible without my crew. They're a talented bunch.
But you're their beacon.
Careful. He'll end up adopting you, Ryder.
Ah, my staff.
Colleagues, you wouldn't be looking to cut us out, would you, Tan?
I remind you, I am the director of the initiative.
Acting director.
Yeah, I mean, I like I wish Kesh would be the leader of the Krogan, honestly. Zoe, yeah, Morta's basically a tyrant. I mean, she's basically like old Krogan, right? Like, Rex was like the new school Krogan, where he wanted some amount of like cooperation. He wanted the Krogan to be strong, but he wanted them to develop besides just fighting. Morta's like that old Krogan mentality. Now, see, again, like, I don't remember the exact, what you end up saying exactly, but it's like, all opinions matter. Yeah, sure, but I think there's also the issue of, is Tan being given some amount of room to be the director? So it's like, I don't think I'm going to like this give Tan a chance dialogue option, but the whole, well, all opinions matter, like, yeah, that's true, but we're kind of discussing whether or not Tan should get to be the director. So I'm going to try the give Tan a chance option, but I have a feeling, if I remember correctly, that that's going to be overly positive towards Tan. I just feel like all opinions matter is such a non-statement.
The director's had a rough time stepping into a job he didn't ask for. I sympathize. Let's give him a chance.
Oh, that's not bad.
As I've said all along, the Pathfinder and I are of one mind.
I have concerns about your decision on Eos, Ryder. An outpost full of scientists won't do as much good if the Kett attack.
But it will help support the Nexus. Improved research could help feed our people.
And we could argue about it all day long, as we always do. The decision was made. Now we move on. What is your plan for moving on, Ryder?
We have a lead on the terraforming network. I need to take the Tempest deeper into the sector to investigate. If the other Golden Worlds are where they should be, this could get us closer to them.
Careful. The Kett are scouring the cluster for remnant technology. You'll end up in a fight, for sure. You might also run into exiles. They didn't leave the Nexus on good terms.
And we still need more outposts. They're important to expanding the station.
Though with Ark still missing, this could be a chance for Ryder to search for them. Yes, I think that's best. You have my permission.
Now, see, this is where we need to go back and go, listen, buddy, we don't ask for your permission. So, I don't know. I think the game does an all-right job at letting you interact with Tan in a way where you can be logically not on his side, but you give him his fair shot. And then it does give you the chance to kind of push back on him a little bit, because he is a little underhanded sometimes, where he's clearly trying to leverage you for his own political power.
I wasn't really asking for it.
Of course. I support that kind of enthusiasm.
Right.
Ryder, this is Harry, back on the Ark.
Go ahead.
We may have found a way to talk to your brother, sort of. Drop by when you can. Hyperion Medbay.
Will do.
A reminder, you have AVP outstanding.
Right. Have to talk to Addison's assistant about viability perks. Sounds useful.
All right. Well, we're past 2 hours, and I knew I really didn't have time to go much longer than that. So I'm going to go ahead and save, and we're going to go ahead and call that a stream for tonight. I will be picking up from here. Again, I'm going to do a little bit of stuff off stream as far as inventory management and touching up Alicia's look/hair color. And then I will be back maybe Wednesday night, possibly Wednesday night. I will announce on Twitter. If not, I will be back here next Sunday, somewhere late afternoon or in the evening. I want to thank everybody who stopped by. If you're watching this on the archive later on, thank you for watching. I know some of you have been in here since we started streaming, so you've been with us for 2 hours. Thank you so much. The support, again, has been so awesome. With this being a new channel for streaming between both myself and Katie, and you guys have been awesome showing up, basically, many of you showing up in every stream, so I really, really appreciate the support, and I will talk to you all next time, again, either Wednesday, which I'll announce on Twitter if I do, or next Sunday. Thanks so much. Have a good night. This has been Codex Added. I'll talk to you soon.